our deliberations and our sharing and our spiritual experience somehow culminated in the basic insight that we are all called to live fully in the now. And it is in that now where our past can be recalled and celebrated as well as repented of. And it is in the now that we also look forward to a future whereby we no longer need to repeat the mistakes of the past and thereby move on toward a future based on our full appreciation of the gifts of the now, so that we will be able to create together a new world that embodies the hopes of each and every one of us and all those who are in our respective traditions. I'd like to ask Piotr first, what did you see as the connection between our deliberations and what the theme of the World Religious Leaders will be?
The connection I see is the theme memory and hope clearly refers to the past and to the future. Memory refers to the past, the hope refers to the future, but what I think emerged from our conversation is that for you the most important part of your topic is end. The point which connects memory and hope, past and future, because as we were talking about the profound texts coming from different traditions about how two spiritual persons in their spiritual life should relate to the dimension of time, I think the common outcome, the commonality we managed to detect was that, as Robert said, the present moment is the most important. The present moment is the moment when eternity, some ultimate divine dimension, connects to the time. And that one commonality was also that we should not be captured by the past. Of course, there is some importance of the past in our present, in our life in present moment. We were discussing some differences between our traditions and also within particular traditions, how to relate to the past, how to make past present. But what was common, that we should make past present. We should not be attached to the past as the past. This was a very clear commonality. Of course, we discussed, for example, that the past is, in many religions, there are some past events, Exodus from Egypt, incarnation of Jesus, life of Jesus Christ, death, resurrection, and so on, especially in Abrahamic traditions, are very important, but also in some traditions stemming from the Indian peninsula, some past events are very important, but are important only because they open us in the present moment to the infinite, to the timeless, to the eternal. There emerged one crucial also, I think, point we didn't resolve, but I think it's worth to mention it, that what is more important, facts or narratives? There are some, because there are some, especially in the border between religion and non-religious attitude to the past, also to the religious past. There are some questions whether our Holy Scriptures describe the past in accurate way, in a way which actually the past has happened, or whether there is some constructive, there was some constructive work involved in creating the narrative. What if we discovered that, for example, biblical account of Exodus is not historically adequate? Whether accurate, yes. Whether this discovery in what way this discovery would affect our faith. And this is a huge problem when we meet people who work in non-religious work and tell us that our scriptures are not accurate in description of the past. This is the crucial one, very important question.
A person on a spiritual journey is propelled by three questions. Who am I? Or where have I come from? That's part of this question of who am I? And where am I going? And if I see a vision of where I am going or where I am called to go, then the third question then will be looking at where I am right now. How do I appreciate this place where I am and proceed in a way that I can move forward to that vision of the future that I hope to go to. So in that regard, memory is who are we, why are we here for, asking our respective traditions about our identity. So realizing our identity as a community and of course as individuals is a crucial presupposition for our being able to contribute to our community in the world today. Who am I, and what can I contribute is based on my understanding of who am I. And there we look forward to the future. What can be our shared hope, and what is our vision? So that reminds me of what the Second Vatican Council attempted to do in the 1960s, from 1962 to 1965. They asked two questions. The question first of ad intra in Latin, the question toward our own identity, towards our own community, and the question ad extra about what was happening in the modern world and how we as a Christian community, believers in Jesus Christ, the risen one, can respond to the needs of the contemporary world. And in that look at intra, we were given the impetus and the power and the vision to respond to the needs of the ad extra. And so that is where we are, and that's one framework of reference for understanding what Elijah is now deliberating.
I think this identity gained also through memory is very important, but what mystical masters teach us is that we should not be attached to the past and should not be so focused on the future, so focused in future, focus on the future in a way which drives us out from the present. So I would say that the mystical perspective claims that our memory should be rather as a non-declarative memory than declarative memory. Non-declarative memory is some kind similar to the memory. We memorize how to drive, for example. This is a secular example. We memorize how to drive, but we need not to think about it, how to drive. We just do it. And it's in similar way we should behave and have similar attitude in our spiritual life. We should, to some extent, memorize our past, our past, in a way which is not, that does not attach us to this past. So we can, in order to be able to be open in every present moment for any, I would say, voice of God which comes ever anew, ever irreplicable, sometimes not similar to the voice which has come in the past. God is always anew in the present moment. It's always something unexpected, and we should be open but being detached.
And there's an overarching priority for something. And what is that priority? I believe believers say we have to move towards God with the ultimate aim of fusing in Him, becoming one with Him. And for that, you've got to have confidence and faith. You have to have an assumption. You want to go to New York, you must assume there is a New York. You want to go to Kashmir, if you don't assume there is Kashmir, you will never get to Kashmir. So the first thing is assumption, and that is the faith. Then there is this commitment and faith. Otherwise, you will not take the first step. So we know we must define a vision, the mission of life's journey. And then we must see what is the toolkit? What shall I take with me on this long journey? What will happen? When we talk about my religion, deen, mazhab, or dharam, religion is not the good translation. It doesn't encapsulate the meaning. Dharam means my duty, my responsibility, first and foremost, in religion also. As believers, what is our duty to our Maker, to our Creator, to our kith and kin, and to others, to vegetation, to matter? In fact, the entire creation is a responsibility. So I thought these are things that must also come into play when we are moving on the journey.
Thank you.
If I may defend the name of religion, because it also, in this name, there is included the idea of connection with the divine. So in this respect, it is okay to the name religion, because what we also discovered that what is very important in our spiritual journey through within time, that we are connected with the divine in every moment. So the distinction between, the difference between our journey to New York and our journey to God is that, as it were, New York is present here, because God is present every moment. So sometimes we forget about this connection, and we think only about the future encounter with God. For example, if we are in Abrahamic, for example, or if we are in a tradition which use the name of God. But we must remember, not forget this. Of course, we are aiming at something ahead of us, but this, what is ahead, is already present. And it is also very important in our journey.
It's very good. I suppose we all know God is eternal. So when you link up with somebody eternal, you also become eternal. Now, it is like sandalwood. The sandalwood plant is very small, but even the earth around it starts smelling. Starts smelling because of the association. So when we are linked up to Almighty, who is eternal, we also forget the past and the future. We also become present and eternal.
We also talked about the crisis of our time, of our period, the need to supply language to those who feel that feel time as frozen time, as broken time, as the divided self of some people today who seek to get some understanding and help in a way of reconstructing the duration of time, which is also the duration of and the connection of the self to the transcendent, and even the courage to deal with as the absence of God, and to be able to treat also and to take also the absence of God as a symptom of His presence in other way. And this is, it's not that we can feel everything and everything around us is harmonious, especially when we have to help our students or people who are suffering. Then we have to find a language to help contain and hold also the painful experience of the absence of God.
Thank you. We are, of course, in the realm of mystery when we enter a spiritual path and when we are privileged with the encounter with that mystery, so it's basically beyond language. And yet we cannot just rest smugly on that saying, oh, it's beyond language. And what Habiba has emphasized now is also another very, very important task for us who are part of a religious community, namely to find a language that can connect us with our contemporaries